We all know that sound all too well. You get a text and it's from that person that sends you 4, 5, 6, 7 texts in a row before you can even respond. Well, in today's video, I'm gonna share 14 different ways that you can be a better communicator as a business professional. There might be some things that you're doing without even realizing that could be driving your client crazy or could even be costing you business. So let's dive in. What are 14 different tips on how to get better at communicating? Number 1 is I just played it on my phone. A tip to better elevate your communication as a professional: don't send multiple texts in a row without your client responding. The 5, 6, 7, 8 texts in a row, the one-liner sentences, don't do that. I know your clients could be at work, they could be in meetings, and their phone is just getting blown up because you're asking different questions. Put it into one text. Make it concise, not a very long paragraph. Concise, and ask them what you need to ask them. If it's too long for a text, pick up the phone and call them. Number 2, don't double and triple call the same person over and over and over. Again, you're blowing up their phone and you might not even realize it. I was always raised growing up that unless it's an emergency, somebody's going to the hospital, somebody's dying, somebody's getting arrested, don't call over and over and over to try to get somebody to answer the phone. Or don't call them 2 times, then call their spouse. Don't do that. You're blowing up their phone. Wait, breathe, pause. If they're older clientele, leave them a voicemail. If they're younger, just send them a text instead of a voicemail. I know sometimes when I'm in a meeting, if I get a text instead of a voicemail, I might be able to respond quicker. So don't double or triple call your clients. You are blowing up their phone. Who's ever used voice to text? Hey, so we just got this offer in. The purchase price is $420,000. They have an inspection period of about 10 days. It's pass or fail, so I don't know how you feel about that. They also need to get financing. So I've talked with their lender and they have a pre-approval, but it's not as quite as high as we need it to be to comfortably potentially accept this offer. They also have a home sale contingency, and I've looked up their home and it's been on the market for 45 days and it's still active. So anyways, once you review the offer, just let me know and give me a call back. Don't do that. Do not voice to text because they just got an entire paragraph, an entire story from you. You're having a one-sided phone call and it's not fair to them. They are going to respond in a text with a short little response. Pick up the phone, call them, send them a shorter text. But voice to text should only be used if you're going to keep it short. Tip number 4 to become a better communicator as a professional is do your job and stay in your lane. A lot of times it is a business transaction when you're working the deal. You don't need to ask them, hey, what type of laundry detergent was that? What's the smell of it? How many loads does it do? Where did you buy that? That's inappropriate. Do your job. Ask about the business transaction itself, but anything else, wait until after it closes. There's a time and place to be friends and have casual conversations, and there's a time and place to do business. So do your job and stay in your lane. So tip number 5 to communicate better, and I've never really understood this. I've been more of a private person with my personal life, but don't overshare. Sometimes I see different communication methods and they say, hey, I'm jumping in the shower, I'll call you back. That's maybe not super business professional. Or, hey, I'm using the restroom, I'll text you right after. That's weird. So be professional and don't overshare. We all don't need to know that. Just don't respond right away and just call back when you're available. Number 6 ties into the last 2, but you have time to be friends later. So just as we know now, do our job, stay in our lane, there's a time for all those personal conversations. And a lot of our clients, we want to build those lifelong relationships with, but we got time to be friends later. So let's not do it now while we're working the deal, trying to get the job done. All right, so number 7 is probably one of the most important that you need to know as a professional, is to be an emotional filter for not only your client, but everybody else in the transaction. You have to absorb probably 90% of what you're dealing with and just stick to the facts. Let your client decide what's best for them. If you get an offer that's way under the list price, it's not offensive. Present it to the seller, see what they have to say. If you're negotiating with another agent for repairs and they're not necessarily agreeing to what you're looking for, don't get angry at them and then tell your seller, hey man, these people aren't working with me, this is ridiculous. Because now you're gonna fire up your client and they're gonna say, yeah, it is ridiculous, let's terminate. Even though that was the only contract you got in 3 months of being on the market. If you need to, go take a walk, absorb it, and then communicate with your client and ask them what they would like to do. It's not up to you. It's not how you feel. It's up to getting the job done, and you need to be a professional. Number 8, don't take it personal. Again, same examples. You cannot get angry. This is not your house as a real estate agent or whatever business you are in. It is not personal. It is business. It happens. Just like in sports teams, players get traded all the time and they know that. It's a business world and you are a hired business professional. Don't take it personal. Don't get angry. Don't get sad. Don't get in your feelings. Stick to the facts, get the deal closed, and worry about the next deal. Number 9, never escalate. There are too many professionals out there that want to escalate every single situation. Oh, the owner took a bathroom mirror, and if they don't return it, I'm gonna sue you. No, you're not. My attorneys cost $350 to $450 an hour. You're not gonna sue us over a $100 bathroom mirror. Why are we escalating? So always de-escalate the situation. There's no need to be so angry in life. We're all in this together. We're all professionals. Let's work it out. If it's under $5,000 of a problem, we can probably figure it out because again, a lot of attorneys cost $5,000 retainer, non-refundable. So we're not gonna sue each other. Let's work this out. Let's de-escalate. Let's figure it out. Let's solve the problem. Let's get this done and move on to the next deal. Number 10, be concise. Keep communication short. I know I like emails that are this big, not this big, but this big. So be concise. I don't want to read a novel. I don't want to feel like I'm reading a book to explain the situation or to try to explain everything to the client. Let them know what they need to know and let them make the decision. But don't write out a chapter of a book. Be concise, and it's going to help you close more deals. 11, breathe. Some agents are very quick to spout off responses or look for the right answer, or they get a contract that's submitted to them on their listing and they call me right away and they say, Zach, what do you think about this offer? And I ask, have you even talked to your seller? Well, no, I want to get your opinion. Doesn't matter what my opinion is. Ask the seller, what do they want to do? So breathe. Or when those other repairs or negotiations are happening, or we get frustrated, back to some of my previous tips on how to better communicate as a professional, breathe. Don't escalate. Don't make it more than it is. Don't fire off an entire paragraph. Breathe. Walk away from it. Go for a walk for an hour. Go watch your favorite TV show. Go watch some funny videos on the internet. But just relax and breathe and you'll become a better communicator. And if with your client, you don't give them instant responses and you kind of wait a little bit, maybe 10, 20 minutes instead of instant, they're gonna back off a little bit instead of being like, hello, where are you? Can you respond? You're setting that expectation up front. Like, hey, it's gonna take me a couple minutes. I could be eating dinner. I could be off doing whatever. It doesn't matter, but just breathe, take your time, and formulate a professional response. 12, don't overpromise and underdeliver. I do the exact opposite. I underpromise and overdeliver. That way everybody's happy every single time. I can't tell you how many calls I've gotten that, well, Zach, my seller's mad now because I told him I could sell it for this price and now I'm trying to tell him to lower the price. Yeah, you promised you could sell their house for higher and it's not happening. So don't overpromise. Always be transparent with the expectations and your client will learn to follow those transparent expectations. Tip number 13, you actually have to communicate. I can't even put on paper how many thousands and thousands of dollars have been lost by people that don't pick up the phone. They don't respond to texts. They don't respond to emails. I see so many missed opportunities and it drives me crazy because if people just answered the phone as a business professional, you would actually close more deals and make more money. And I've seen so many people miss out on so many opportunities just because they won't answer the phone. Number 14, to communicate more effectively as a business professional is to set boundaries for not only client, but also yourself. Don't send out voicemails and call your client at 9:45 p.m. Don't send out emails at 2 a.m. in the morning. My doctor doesn't call me at 9 o'clock. My lawyers aren't sending me emails at 2 a.m. So set those boundaries for your client and yourself. Because if you don't, you will get steamrolled during the transaction by your client, by the other people. So you need to tell them, hey, normally for most things, I respond between 8 and 5, occasionally on the evenings, or if it's an emergency, on the weekends. Set that up front and you will have a much happier, much easier lifestyle because you've set that on the front end. And don't, when you're reaching out to others, don't reach out at all times of the day. Let's say, for example, something with the deal has you up late at night, it's 2 in the morning, and you want to hit send on this email that you just typed up. Well, pause, look to the right of the send button, and you can schedule send it. Maybe schedule send that for 8 a.m. or 8:30 in the morning when it's a professional, appropriate business time. It's time to set boundaries for you and your client. Very last one, to communicate better is actually to listen. And when you listen, you can actually communicate more effectively. Oftentimes, the other side you're negotiating with, they're gonna tell you in different ways what they're actually looking for, or they're gonna emphasize different things and you can pick up on that. Or your client is gonna tell you exactly what they expect from you as a hired professional. Again, they hired you, you didn't hire them. So they're paying you to do a job and they're gonna tell you how they wanna do the job. So do it. If they ask for feedback, make sure you get feedback on all your showings. If they ask to set up a weekly call for Friday, don't respond back and say, well, I really prefer Tuesdays, but I guess I could do Friday, and just let me know. No, there's no point to send that first part. Just say, hey, I can do Fridays. What time are you looking for? Be a professional, listen to your client, and when you take these 14 steps into play in your business, you're going to attract more clients, close more deals, and get more referrals. That's the biggest trick as well, is are you closing deals and people are sending you referrals? If not, you might be doing something wrong, and it might be part of your communication. So if you found this video helpful, subscribe below. It really helps us out, and I'll see you next time.